Imagine tomorrow morning. You wake up and suddenly every job on earth disappears. No office, no school, no emails, no deadlines, no alarm screaming at you to wake up. You walk outside, sit near a fire, and ask yourself one strange question. What am I supposed to do all day? For almost all of human history, this wasn't imagination. This was normal life. For nearly 300,000 years, humans lived without jobs, salaries, schedules, or bosses. And strangely enough, scientists believe many of them had more free time than modern humans do today. So, what did ancient humans actually do all day? Did they constantly fight for survival? Were they always starving? Or were they sitting around fires, relaxing, talking, and enjoying life in a way modern people completely forgot? And while you watch this video, try imagining yourself there. No phone, no internet, no clock. Would you feel free or completely lost? Most people imagine ancient humans as exhausted cave people desperately hunting every single day just to survive. But anthropology tells a very different story. In the 1960s, researcher Richard Lee studied the Juhwanzi people in Botswana, one of the last hunter-gatherer societies still living somewhat similar to prehistoric humans. And what he found shocked scientists. Adults only spent around 15 to 20 hours per week getting food. That's it. Not per day, per week. That means ancient-style humans often had more free time than modern office workers. And this pattern keeps appearing all over the world. The Hadza in Tanzania, the Martu in Australia, the Ache in Paraguay. Different continents, different climates, same basic lifestyle. Get food, then relax. Well, first, they slept more naturally than we do. No glowing screens, no midnight scrolling, no alarms destroying your sleep. Humans woke up with sunlight and slept with darkness. And interestingly, many scientists believe ancient humans slept in two separate phases. They would sleep for a few hours, wake up in the middle of the night, sit around the fire talking or thinking, then go back to sleep again. Which means waking up at 2 a.m. might actually be something your brain evolved to do. But mornings were usually calm. People slowly woke up around the fire. Someone added wood, others ate leftover berries, nuts, fish, or meat from the previous day. Nobody was rushing anywhere. Ancient mornings were social. People talked, children played nearby, someone repaired a spear, someone sharpened a stone tool. Life moved slower. And here's something movies get completely wrong. Ancient humans didn't hunt every day. Humans evolved to conserve energy whenever possible. If enough food already existed, many people simply stayed near camp. Some gathered plants nearby. Some repaired clothing made from animal hides. Others worked on tools. And humans love making tools. Archaeologists found ancient spears, needles, fishing hooks, baskets, and carved objects going back tens of thousands of years. Some were beautifully crafted, far more detailed than necessary for survival, which tells us something important. Ancient humans cared about creativity too. In South Africa, archaeologists discovered tiny shell beads over 100,000 years old. Humans drilled holes into shells just to wear them as jewelry. Think about that. Someone walked miles to collect shells, then spent hours carving them, just to look good. Even prehistoric humans cared about style and identity. And it gets even crazier. In Germany, scientists discovered a 40,000-year-old flute made from bird bone. A flute. That means ancient humans were sitting around fires making music. Not because it helped survival, but because humans naturally create art when they finally have time to breathe. And this completely changes the image most people have of prehistoric life. Because if survival was non-stop suffering, none of this should exist. Music shouldn't exist. Jewelry shouldn't exist. Cave paintings shouldn't exist. But they do. In France, deep inside caves, humans painted giant animals on walls over 30,000 years ago. Not crude stick figures. Actual detailed paintings with movement and perspective. Imagine sitting deep underground by firelight, painting animals for hours, with no money, no audience, no internet, just because your brain wanted to create something beautiful. But okay, what about hunting? Surely that took up most of the day, right? Sometimes yes, but humans hunted differently than most predators. Instead of sprinting after animals, humans slowly exhausted them. We can sweat better than almost any animal on Earth. So, while animals overheated, Humans kept jogging. Eventually, the animal collapsed from exhaustion. And after returning to camp, the work was mostly done for the day. Then came something modern humans barely experience anymore: doing absolutely nothing. Not laziness, not depression, just existing. People sat around talking, children played games, adults joked with each other, some carved objects from bone or stone, others stared quietly into the fire. Modern humans feel guilty when they aren't productive. Ancient humans didn't, because evolution never designed your brain for non-stop productivity. And honestly, this might explain why modern life sometimes feels strangely wrong. Your brain evolved in small tribes, not offices, not traffic, not endless notifications. For most of human history, humans spent huge amounts of time around people they trusted, talking, laughing, sharing stories. And storytelling was everything. At night, after darkness covered the land, humans gathered around fires and told stories for hours. Anthropologists studying hunter-gatherer tribes found something fascinating. Daytime conversations were practical, but nighttime conversations became emotional and imaginative. People talked about dreams, ancestors, spirits, funny stories, impossible adventures. This may have been where religion, myths, and culture were born, not in buildings, around campfires. And children, ancient children had enormous freedom. No schools, no homework, no schedules. They learned mostly by copying adults. Humans learned naturally by watching life happen around them. Now, obviously, ancient life wasn't perfect. People got injured. Disease existed. Winter was dangerous. Predators were terrifying. And if food became scarce, life could become brutally hard very quickly. But despite all that, many anthropologists believe hunter-gatherers often had better work-life balance than early farmers. And then, everything changed. If you've watched this far, subscribe. Around 10,000 years ago, humans discovered agriculture. At first, farming probably seemed amazing. You plant seeds. Food grows nearby. You don't need to wander constantly. Perfect, right? Not exactly, because farming created a trap. Once humans settled down, populations exploded. More people meant more food was needed. More food meant more labor. Suddenly, humans were working fields all day, carrying water, protecting crops, storing grain. And archaeologists noticed something shocking. Early farmers became shorter, weaker, and sicker than hunter-gatherers. Their bones showed signs of overwork. Their teeth rotted from grain-heavy diets. Humans had accidentally traded freedom for stability. And eventually, farming created cities. Cities created governments, then taxes, then money, then jobs. And over thousands of years, humans slowly built a world where survival became connected to constant work. Today, the average person spends around 90,000 hours working during their lifetime. Your ancient ancestors probably would have thought that was insane. And maybe that's why modern humans fantasize so much about escaping everything: camping, cabins, traveling, sitting around fires with friends, doing nothing for a while. Because deep down, part of your brain still remembers the old world. So, what did ancient humans do all day? Sometimes they hunted, sometimes they made tools, sometimes they made music, sometimes they painted caves, sometimes they laughed around fires for hours, and sometimes they simply rested without feeling guilty about it. For almost all of human history, humans weren't trying to become successful. They were just trying to live. So here's the question. If modern jobs suddenly disappeared tomorrow, what do you think humans would naturally start doing again? Tell me in the comments.